Today we're going to talk about Oktoberfest, Project Orange, Retaliator, and Recon Mark II braces, and some updates about the Longshot fusion system. Hey guys, it's John with Orange ModWorks, and before we get started, I'm going to bring in Jangular from YouTube to help us out with this and future videos.
Thanks, John. I'm Jangular, and I've been making YouTube videos about the Nerf hobby for the last 5+ years. It's something I love doing, so I'm stoked to be a part of this project. Thanks for having me aboard.
Hey Chris, so what we're doing today, and what we hope to continue doing, is to give our fans updates on current projects, future projects, and other interesting topics.
That sounds right up my alley. You know I love sharing and keeping people informed on everything going on in the Nerf hobby, so this is something I can definitely get behind. Now, is it safe to assume we're going to jump into some updates right away?
Exactly, so the first segment is going to be called Orange ModWorks News, and it will be short but detailed updates on current projects. Before we begin, I wanted to make a quick mention that we will be at Oktoberfest from October 11th to the 13th, and we're going to be having a booth there. We'll be showcasing some of our upcoming projects, the Cybertech Corp blasters, a new DMR 300 shell that accepts Longshot internals. You've probably seen some of these floating around on social media, but if you get a chance to swing by our booth, that would be fantastic. If not, keep an eye on this spot and we'll be posting future updates.
All right, let's kick this off by talking about Project Orange. Back in June, Orange ModWorks was notified that Celery, the payment processor that they use for Project Orange, would be closing their commercial services. This means they would no longer be able to edit, modify, refund anything related to backer payments or info or anything like that for Project Orange. So they decided to go ahead and refund all active backers, and John's gonna let you know about the immediate steps they took after.
We've blasted out emails regarding the refund through Celery, and as we approach the release date of the Project Orange kits, we'll send out codes to all of our backers, so you will get your same backer bonuses, same discounted price, everything. We know who you are, you will be getting the same bonuses.
As Project Orange moves forward, it's going to change from a crowdfunding platform to more of an idea sharing platform. It'll allow people to rate ideas, comment on them, tweak them, and get them to the point that they may be a viable option for mass market. And if they are, Orange ModWorks will work with them to get them a good cut of their creation while they bring it to market as well. So it's a way for creators to make something that becomes a reality, maybe when they didn't have the means to on their own. But it also involves a lot of community feedback and what ideas really have merit and can be worked. So that's something to look forward to. We'll have a lot more details on that in the future, but just letting you know how things are going to change. Next up, let's talk about the core Retaliator Recon Mark II kit, namely the plunger brace. There were some issues for some users that experienced shell breakage with the kit for their blasters. Now, they provided their feedback and that was listened to, and a stopgap solution based on the feedback and even some creative solutions that users had was made and made available on the marketplace as a 3D printed option. While this was going on, a developmental solution was being put into place, and John's going to talk you through that.
So we discovered differences between the Retaliator and Recon Mark II shells that caused them to basically break on impact. The early Recon Mark II shell that we had was different than the ones that you see now. We picked up a shell when they first released, and they're so different, in fact, that the current version of the braces won't even work in the old Recon Mark II shell. It was kind of a surprise when that hit us. So we handed off development to our mechanical engineer, Ben, and he was able to come up with a brace design that both prevents your blaster from breaking when using the kit, and if your blaster has broken, you can install these new braces and they will hold your plunger body in place during use. We had to do some DFM for this, a design for manufacture, where the early braces were 3D printed. When we went over to rubber injection moldings, tolerances change, the thicknesses you can work with change, and of course the material was so different. So we had to not do a full redesign, but we had to change enough of the individual features on the braces that it really felt like a full redesign. So the braces in their current iteration are injection molded out of fairly stiff rubber. Well, it's fairly stiff for rubber. It still bends a bit. But it will be a fix and a preventative measure for those of you running the hybrid kit in your Retaliator or Recon Mark II.
Moving on, let's talk about something for a slightly larger blaster. How about the Longshot Fusion kit? This is something that Orange Modworks has been working on for quite a while now, with the goal of having it be a versatile and powerful option for longshot users that minimizes the amount they need to open up and swap out internals. Now, they've done a lot of different iterative designs on this, and this could be viewed as the evolution of the hybrid system into something bigger and better. But for all the cool technical details and engineering stuff, I'm gonna pass you off to Jun.
So what took the longest, I think, with the Longshot system was tweaking all of the individual components to work with our 8, 14, and 18/20 kilogram spring, our redesigned spring. It was quite an undertaking because we wanted to go with a fixed barrel length, but we couldn't have a barrel length that was so long it would only work with the most powerful spring. We wanted a good performance with all 3 springs, and that required an incredible amount of testing, specifically around the plunger head O-ring and how it fits against the plunger body and how much friction there is versus how much of a seal you get. And we tested all of the components that go into the powertrain of the Longshot Fusion kit one at a time, starting with basically the barrel back. And when I say we tested a lot, we roughly estimated around 6,000 shots, I want to say. And with the heavier springs, I mean, that was quite the undertaking. So that's around 6,000 shots over the chronograph, every shot accounted for, written down by hand, and then we put together a spreadsheet and looked at the data. So as far as design for manufacturing goes, the 3D printed components that we tested with are all very, very thick. And with injection molding, you can't make everything. You can do a lot with injection molding, but you can't have very thick sidewalls. So we had to go through and make a uniform sidewall thickness around the entire part. It was not too bad with like the plunger head, the plunger rod, those components, but when it came to the breech, it left us with a large dead space cavity. So we had to add a rubber plug in there that both fills the dead space, but also has the added benefit of just giving you a little bit of impact protection with that plunger head, and it cuts down the noise a tiny bit, but it's mostly about the impact protection. And with the plunger head, the screw where it attaches to the plunger rod was redone. With the original Longshots, those plunger heads only go in one way, and while that design adds a lot of strength, it was too thick. So we cored that out, changed the tolerances of the screw with our own tolerances, and now the plunger head will go on in any orientation while maintaining increased strength and uniform wall thickness. Parts with critical dimensions are individually injection molded. Most of the tooling for the mass-produced parts is complete. A hybrid kit will ship with the Fusion kits for our backers, our early adopters, and when all of the backers have their kits, a Fusion system will be made available for purchase on our website.
So I want to know, what are you most excited for from the updates today? What was the most interesting? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from each and every one of you. Also, this is something brand new that we're doing here. This is not the only one of these episodes. You should expect these out from us with regularity. We are still figuring out how often we want to do them, but no, they are coming along with much more. So that said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Orange Modworks News.